Alright guys, we're back with our reading recommendations. I picked these up at Geeking Out Comics last week.
2924 North Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Decatur, Illinois.
It's the new 52's version of Hawk and Dove, issues number 2 and 3. I was skimming through John's comic books a few weeks ago. These kind of crossed my eye because it's got like evil looking versions of Hawk and Dove called Condor and Swan. Which, as many of you might know, back during the mid-90s when they had their whole kind of rebirth type event, Condor was actually a Hawkman replacement.
Yeah. That's supposed to be like an updated, new, sleek version. But
in this one, Condor and Swan are serial killers, and they get their powers from other Lords of Chaos and Order by killing them. Not a whole lot's revealed about them in the issue, but there is some great action in there. Great back and forth between Hawk and Dove. They just became partners, as not love partners, but like actual teammates working together. Not that long ago, I think probably right before issue number 1. I think they're sticking with the pre-New 52 continuity for Hawk and Dove.
Kind of like what Green Lantern did. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did like them. I asked John to check and see if he has issue number 1.
I do not.
4 and 5 for me.
But I'm going to try getting them for you, of course.
You know, the big superheroes like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, those are A-listers, you know.
Yeah.
Those are the ones everyone knows, everyone picks up those comics and reads them and everything.
Hawk and Dove would probably be more your C-listers.
Yeah.
I think.
They're along the lines of like Firestorm and The Question and Green Arrow. No, Green Arrow and Firestorm would probably be B-listers.
Did you hear about the rumor about The Question possibly showing up on Arrow?
Yes.
I am also. They need to get Jeffrey Combs. They need to get Jeffrey Combs for that role because he did the voice in Justice League and he did an awesome job. We had to throw that out. I don't know if you threw that in the news flash or not.
No, I didn't. I completely forgot about that.
There we go. So yeah, I'm excited about that because Question's one of my favorite C-list characters.
You know, you said Jeffrey Combs, and automatically what I start thinking of when you said Jeffrey, I thought
Jeffrey Rush.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
That's the Question.
I think he'd do a good job.
Yeah, he'd do a great job as the Question. I could just imagine his accent doing. You know, he's natural at questions, you know. So Jeff Goldblum, here it is right now.
Can't get Jeffrey Combs. Let's get Jeff Goldblum as the Question.
Yeah.
So, I think that'd be awesome. A live action Question, though. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue your Hawk and Dove review.
Anyway, I really like minor characters that people don't really care about, don't really give a chance, because there are a lot of really great stories that can be told with them.
Yeah.
Because they're so underused, you're not getting the same stories over and over and over.
And that's why I've always been more of a Marvel guy. Don't let the attire fool you. That's why, yeah, I like Spider-Man, I like Wolverine, but I also like characters like She-Hulk, Deathlock, Howard the Duck. I'm sure there's a few more in there, but yeah.
And, I mean, Hawk and Dove have basically followed the same route as Firestorm. They get their own series, and a few issues later it's canceled because people don't really...
They don't want to give them a chance.
Yeah, they don't want to give them a chance.
A lot of those books are pretty cool, pretty good.
Yeah, I got the first issue of Firestorm, the Nuclear Man, the original that Jerry had in his shop.
Right, cool.
But yeah, I love those characters because, like I said, there's so many stories you can tell with them because they're not as well known, you know. Hawk, of course, is an agent of chaos. Dove is an agent of order. They work well off each other.
He's very angry.
Yes, he is a very angry guy.
And she kind of keeps him in check.
Yeah, it's a balance, checks and balances.
I think that they made an appearance in jail.
Yeah,
Justice League animated series, didn't they?
Yep.
So yeah, that was my introduction to him actually.
Same here, as my. It was the brothers Hawk and Dove though.
Yeah.
The original Hawk and Dove.
Who was voiced by Fred Savage and the guy that played his brother in The Wonder Years.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes, they were for Hawk and Dove. I think Dove was Fred Savage, and I think Hawk was I can't remember, Jason Narvey.
Okay.
Or am I
No,
thinking...
Jason Narvey was Skull.
So Jason Harvey.
Yeah.
It was the two brothers from The Wonder Years.
Well, would have been even better as if they would have got Ben and Fred Savage.
That would have been cool. But yeah, that's who they were voiced by in the animated series.
But anyway, yes, that was my introduction. JLU, Justice League Unlimited, that was one of the main things they did great, was bringing lesser known characters to the forefront.
Hawk and Dove, The Question, Zatanna, the cowboy guy,
Vigilante, Shining Knight.
Shining Knight, yeah, that was. I always thought that he was supposed to be the guy from Dragonlance and Space Ace.
Also, characters like the Huntress, Green Arrow, Black Canary, who are B-listers.
Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Blue Beetle. Did they have Blue Beetle in?
I think they did.
I thought that was Brave and the Bold.
Maybe it was Brave and the Bold I was thinking of. Jonah Hex, I think, made an appearance too. His second appearance in the DCU animated universe. Very brief.
Stargirl.
The JSA.
Yeah.
The JSA.
The JSA.
Because Mr. Terrific was on there too.
And Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate was on there. So yeah, the Justice League Unlimited was great.
It took a lot of the focus away from the big name, the A-listers, and put the focus more on the lesser known characters, which I loved.
Yeah.
That's why I like, you've heard me talk about Outburst so much, and the Supermen of America, and Firestorm, and Infinity Inc.
Series now.
Yeah. But yeah, they're great comics. I highly recommend anybody go to your local comic book shop, look through the back issues.
Look for some of the lesser known.
Yeah, Hawk and Dove, Firestorm, Superman of America, Infinity Inc. JSA is kind of a B-lister now, B-list team now. Careful, one of his arm there is kind of messed up. Will come off.
I will put him down.
That was from the Spawn movie, which, by the way, I forgot to mention in News and Flash, but
Todd McFarlane has finished writing his script for the new Spawn movie.
Is it going to be a reboot or a soft sequel?
At this point, does anybody care?
But anyway, as we were saying, go to your local comic book shop, pick up. If you can't get into Hawk and Dove, there are so many others like Dr. Fate. With the new Doctor Strange movie coming out, you might want to get into Dr. Fate.
Doctor Strange was another one of my favorites.
Hawkman.
Black Panther. As sad as it is, he was never really considered an A-lister.
Yeah.
And I always thought he should be. But he was at least a B-lister, though. So, Black Panther, definitely. Morbius, the living vampire.
Blade.
Blade.
There's so many. Savage Dragon. If you guys remember the old...
I just picked out a She-Dragon comic book yesterday, looking through all the free comic books, which was a spin-off character of Savage Dragon.
Did you ever watch the animated series on USA?
I did. We were talking about that yesterday.
Love that series. That and Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, go to your local comic book shop. I challenge everyone watching this to go to your local comic book shop, or if you don't have a local comic book shop, go on to Amazon or eBay or whatever.
There are actual comic book stores with online stores you can purchase them too, so you're still supporting comic book stores.
Right.
My online store is not going right now. I'm in the process of rebooting it, and so.
And just find a B, C, or D list hero with their own title, and check them out. You'd be greatly surprised at some of the stories that can be told.
Yeah.
How I got into Firestorm was the old Superpowers Super Friends TV show. I remember he killed Superman one time by going to a planet full of kryptonite. But that was my introduction
That's
to
where
Firestorm.
Superman belongs, to a planet full of kryptonite.
But that was my introduction to Firestorm, and for years, I saw that when I was a kid, and I forgot his name. I had the action figure, and I loved playing with that action figure. The fiery hair just kind of stuck in my mind and everything. And I was part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. I was a little brother. My big brother took me to Heroic Age Studios, which contracts for publishers like Marvel and DC and Image and Dark Horse and all of them. And I got to see how comic books are made. Yeah. They were drawing some art for a couple Marvel issues. I believe the one he had on his board at the time was a picture of Mysterio that was going into a comic book.
I like Mysterio.
Yeah. And they were showing me how they draw them up, the massive paper that they shrink down once it's all done up and everything. And I asked him, I was like, there was this hero that I really liked. I can't think of his name. He had fire for hair, and he was flipping through his cards, and he was like, oh, you mean this guy here? I'm like, yes! And it's Firestorm. And ever since then, I grabbed as many comics that had Firestorm in them as I could. And so, yeah. But we're going to pause a minute.
No.
And then,
yeah.
You've watched the Critters movies, right?
I am familiar with Critters. Okay. It's been a while, but yeah, I'm familiar with
We'll
Critters.
do a joint review on Critters. It's not really comic book related, but it's pop culture.
And that's what we're all about.